Hello, I'm John Huber, the president of NORA, and I'm here with Dr. Tom Butcher, the lab director for NORA, and Richard Sweetser, who is a consultant in NORA. We're here to talk to you about the path to clean fuels, what's going on in the general environment, the efforts to electrify everything, and then what do we have as a solution, e.g. biofuels, and what should we be doing as an industry to get to the level where we can be competitive on global warming with the other fuels that we compete with. Global warming. We've been talking and working on global warming for over 50 years. We have done significant things in that time period. We have banned CFCs. We have changed the refrigerants used in air conditioning and refrigerators. We've altered the fuel mix in our cars, trying to move up the efficiency and CAFE standards. We've done a lot. In the last 10 years, we've seen some sweeping changes. During the Obama administration, the United States agreed to the Paris Agreements, which set up firm goals for reducing carbon over the next 30 years. The Trump administration has withdrawn the United States from that. Whether there will be a next administration that has a different view is unknown at this time, and whether the Trump administration will be the same administration next time is still unknown. But probably for our industry, the most important thing that's going on is state and local governments. When we think of carbon, we have to think about the fossil fuels: coal, natural gas, propane, and heating oil. Each of these have carbon in them and contribute carbon when they're combusted. Generally, the order is based on their weight, coal being the most significant carbon-intensive fuel, heating oil next, propane, then natural gas. At this time, none of these fuels are popular in heating oil country. The states in our region are generally saying we don't need to combust anything anymore. We should be being moved beyond combustion is the terminology. For most of us, our whole careers, we have been competing with natural gas. Natural gas has been seen to be the clean fuel, the bridge to the future, the solution to global warming. However, that's not the case anymore. Research is showing that natural gas is not the future to a low carbon future. In fact, we've been discovering that when gas leaks, whether it's in the pipeline, the local distribution companies, or even in production, the methane that goes out into the environment is 28 times worse than carbon dioxide over 100 years. However, because methane has a short life, it essentially degrades when it's put in the atmosphere, it's 84 times worse when you measure it over 20 years. So just a little bit of methane leakage, small line leaks, can add up to real problems. As a result, the environmental community and most of the state and local governments in our region are not that keen on natural gas anymore. In fact, they've been discouraging the use of it because they view that if you put the pipelines in, people are going to adapt to the pipelines, put in boilers, furnaces, or whatever, and then when you have to get rid of it to meet global warming goals, you won't be able to. If natural gas is not going to be the answer to our future, what is? Most people are starting to look at electricity as the solution that fits all problems. It can power homes, cars, factories. You see all over the country windmills being built, photovoltaic farms being built, and in the Northeast we have a lot of renewable fuels coming from the Niagara River, hydropower. So we're seeing a lot of renewables being developed. And many people see it that this will be the transition for the fossil fuel economy to a 100% renewable economy. Will it be easy? No. Electricity has its own problems. Storage and production and demand. When the wind's blowing hard, you're creating a lot of electricity. When the sun's at its zenith in the summer on the top of a photovoltaic farm, it could be producing a lot of electricity. But at night, that PV farm isn't producing anything. And if it's not windy, those windmills aren't producing a lot of power either. And is that going to match with our demand? Currently, we use most of our electricity between 4 and 6 in the afternoon. That could be a good time for wind. It could be a good time for PV. But then what if it's cold at night and it's not very windy? Then what? So trying to make sure we have enough storage for that electricity fuel will be problems, and they haven't been really thought about. Most of us, when we think about reducing energy emissions, really focus on automobiles, even power plants to a lesser degree. But we all think about automobiles because Americans are in love with their car. But a lot of the carbon that's emitted comes from heating buildings and residences. Almost 10% of all the carbon dioxide in the US comes from those factors. So many people are starting to look very closely at our sector, heating homes. What are we going to do and how do we do it? And that there's good opportunities to reduce carbon emissions from homes. We have high performance heat pumps in the market. They can be powered with wind or solar. And so houses can be easily decarbonized. They look at aircraft, as I mentioned earlier, and say that is almost impossible to decarbonize an aircraft. But a home, well, they have wires going to the home already. Heat pumps are available. They even provide electricity. So what could be better? If electricity is the answer, what does that leave us? Well, we actually have a pretty good case to be made. Liquid biofuels have been used in this industry for nearly 2 decades. They've been successfully blended at between 5% and as high as 80 or 100%. They're pretty much everywhere in our heating oil industry. And they're being used successfully without significant maintenance issues, or any maintenance issues in most cases, according to the surveys NORA's done. And then NORA's been working on a high efficiency fossil fuel fired heat pump. Traditionally, we've been at the 86% efficiency, 82, sometimes approaching 90, 92. However, a high efficiency fossil fired heat pump, as Mr. Sweetser will describe, will get us up in that 150% range. So we can have a big jump in efficiency, and that can be fired not with fossil fuels, but also with biofuels. So NORA will be doing some testing on such a heat pump this fall using a renewable fuel to fire it. Currently, biodiesel seems the best option for our industry as a renewable fuel. As I indicated, it's widely used. When they developed biodiesel, they took soy oil and essentially said, we want to turn this into diesel. So all the scientists and engineers were focused on making it as similar to diesel as possible. It reduces greenhouse gas emissions by 70 to 100%. It's not palm oil. It's made from crops grown in the United States, whether it's soy, canola, corn oil, and a lot of it is made from used cooking oil. There have been some cold weather issues. The pour point generally is not as low as what we have for our current heating oil. There's oxygen in the fuel. There's concerns about supply, logistics. How do you move a product from the Midwest, not on the pipeline, to the Northeast? And then there's technical issues with using that fuel. Tom is going to talk quite a bit about the technical issues, but most of these other issues, when the fuel is required to be used, we can solve all these minor problems. They are not significant problems. We can move product from the Midwest to the East Coast. We've done it with ethanol and the gasoline supply. Terminals are experts in logistics. They can figure out how to do this. The big question in a capitalist society like ours is, can we compete? Can we succeed against our competitors? Can we efficiently and environmentally heat homes? To meet state goals, we're going to have to blend at very high levels, 50% to 100%. And that's 2050. And I would say in America in 30 years, we should be able to solve any minor problems with these high blend levels. To beat electricity in the Northeast, we need to blend at more moderate levels, 30% to 50%, maybe a little bit higher, but we can do it. To beat gas, even renewable gas, will only require moderate blending, 5% to 25%. So if we adopt this fuel and move forward with a biodiesel, we can accomplish a lot, and we can preserve our industry as a liquid fuels industry for a long time. We're going to proceed to Richard Sweetzer's presentation, and after him will be Dr. Butcher's presentation. And at the end, hopefully we will have some time to do some questions, either by the chat or have some live questions at the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for your time, and take care.